Hello, I'm Scott Stevens, Goldsboro City Manager. For our monthly update, we picked a beautiful August afternoon, about 3 o'clock, to stand out here in the sun, and we're on location at our water reclamation facility, and we had a project here I want to talk about off of Arrington Bridge Road, and we have blowers at this facility. It's a multi-million-dollar facility, and nothing we do out here is inexpensive. But we had blowers, 4 blowers that have been in service for a very long time, and our utility director had a project to replace 2 of the 4 blowers. And we run 2 of these blowers frontline, and then 2 of these blowers are backups. This project was awarded to TA11 recently by our city council and was completed by the contractor on schedule and within budget. The contract award was $502,000, which is a lot of money for 2 blowers. However, these new blowers are a different type of system that was installed here years ago. And they're variable speed motors, and their energy consumption is significantly less than the old blowers. So we expect that by installing these new blowers and spending over $500,000 of our utility money, that we will recoup those savings through energy costs over the next several years. So we'll be monitoring that to ensure that really is the case. Nonetheless, we've got new blowers installed, and these blowers, when you look at these aeration basins that are part of our treatment process, the bubbles that you see are generated by these blowers pushing air and re-oxygenating the water, so that when we discharge it into the river, we don't kill fish. We don't send out water from the water reclamation facility that can't support fish life. So again, more to come in the future on our water reclamation facility, but again, we thought we'd bring you out and at least show you the blowers and what goes on at this location in regards to this project. I do want to start our update and talk about some compliments we received. I was in a meeting this morning with a visitor who goes to a lot of communities and says he has never given this compliment before, but in meeting with us, he said he came into the building and everyone he ran into was as friendly and positive as any group of people he's ever run into. And I started with him and said, well, you know, you met Linda Braswell as you came through the door, and she's friendly to everybody. And he said, you know, she was, but everybody else that he interacted with at City Hall, he said was very, very positive and smiled and said hello. And I just want to thank our employees for that, and I hope you have that experience with us as you're interacting with our employees each and every day. I also had an unsolicited comment or compliment for our police department. We had a gentleman in town whose son had come to visit, rode his bike through town, and came back and told his dad that he had been out in the community riding his bike and had a great ride, had seen a lot of police officers, and what he shared was that every officer he passed smiled and waved, and he just really appreciated their friendliness and being out there. And I just want to say, you know, thank you to our officers and all of our staff for being friendly and helping those in the community and saying hello. What you say and do really matters. And then finally, I would like to thank our city employees for pledging almost $18,000 of their money to the annual United Way campaign. The city chose to be a front runner in this year's campaign. We've raised over $18,000. 46 of our employees gave an hour's worth of pay per month, which makes them a fair share giver, which puts them in the entry for the Mazda 3 that will be given away in December. So I'm hopeful we'll have a lot of city employees in that December drawing, but I do want to say thank you to our employees, and I appreciate their generosity to the community as well. Several ongoing projects. We've talked about the building at Spence and Ash, the old Arts Council building or former Arts Council building, and demolition project. The contractor has been removing asbestos through most of the month of June and July. The demolition work that we could all see actually began really in August, and I think that in the next few days, so early August, that building will be gone and we'll have a site that really will open up and be available for some type of redevelopment. We continue to have a lot of interest, or at least calls, I say a lot, a number of calls in that site, and we're anxious to sell it, as well as our property on Wayne Memorial. So if you have an interest in that or want to see what it's about, the information is on our website, or please call the manager's office at 580-4330, and we'll be sure to share with you information for either one of those sites. We've talked an awful lot about our GPAC initiative, our Goldsboro Partnership Against Crime. We had our second call-in in July, and I want to say thank you to Sergeant Teresa Chirero and our police department and all of our partners in the judicial system and justice system. We started talking about this time a year ago. We visited High Point to figure out what they were doing. I never envisioned we'd have 2 by halfway through this year. We're on track to have a 3rd call-in this year, and I think it will make a difference for Goldsboro in terms of violent crime as we go forward. Over 90% of the violent offenders in High Point who've been through this program, and over 1,000 violent offenders, 90% of them that have been to a call-in never had another violent offense. And for the 10% that chose to commit another violent crime, they come to the front of the line in the judicial system, and because they were already being given a second chance, their sentencing is much tougher and their trials are not delayed. And I think for High Point it's worked, and I'm expecting good results here in Goldsboro as well. But thanks to all of those involved, and we really do hope it makes a difference for everyone in the community. I also want to mention the animal control ordinance. We've talked about that a number of months, and some of the headlines have talked about the city fining people for feeding feral cats. The City Council, after a lot of consideration, has adopted that ordinance, and it is not our intent to go out and patrol and look for people feeding stray animals. It will allow our police department to in areas where it's been identified as a problem and we need to capture these animals, that we can then talk with property owners, and we will do that in a way that it's a warning first and a fine later. So we're not coming out to be heavy-handed with that. It's just another tool for our police department in trying to help with the stray or feral animals that sometimes are a nuisance within our community. We've talked a lot about recreation projects in July with our City Council. A number of things that are ongoing that I would like to update you on. The basketball courts have been redone at Berkeley Park. They are open. The basketball courts at Berkeley Park were rebuilt this past year. We've just reopened them for play. They are very nice courts, and I would encourage you to go to Berkeley Park. We've installed new shelters. We've installed a disc golf course there as well, and a lot of improvements to clearing out debris and undergrowth in Berkeley Park. So I'd encourage you to come visit that. We are finishing the shelter and bathrooms at Stony Creek Park. They should be open soon for your use. So again, more to come at Stony Creek Park, but the shelter and bathroom ought to be up and operational very soon. And then we've just awarded a bid to resurface and install lighting at the tennis courts at Herman Park Center. These lights should be installed and the resurfacing completed in early October ahead of the USTA tournament that is coming here the second weekend in October. So a lot of improvements ongoing within our parks, but those are some of the top three in terms of visibility. We've also talked about the needs of the W.A. Foster Center to rebuild a new center. It's a project in the $4 to $6 million range. We're debating whether it's a single gym or a double gym. And the location at this point has been determined to be Mena Well Park, and I think that suits it very well. But again, it's $4 to $6 million. In addition to that, we've talked about a multi-sports complex to be paid for with tourism dollars, those dollars generated by our hotel tax. But again, it's a $6 million project to build a facility that we believe would serve the community and provide us tournament quality AstroTurf fields, mostly for the weekend tournaments, and then we would have use of those fields for our citizens and our leagues during the week. So we would build really first-class facilities to capture these tournaments, but then we would have the tourism tax dollars with people staying here to pay for the debt service associated with that. And then finally, we have a lot of needs at Herman Park Center. It's been one of our premier parks for a very long time. I think we've maintained it very well for what it is, but Herman Park Center, the building, is pretty old. We have talked about a gymnasium there and trying to have money to, one, build a gymnasium and then renovate the existing building along with some of the other amenities. And while we haven't got detailed estimates on that, I believe $4 to $6 million will do a lot of improving, maybe not all of it. But again, as we get talking about this, we're up to $18 million pretty quickly. And whether it's tourism dollars or property tax dollars paying that back, it's a lot of money that the citizens would be obligated, or the city obligated, to pay back over time. And in addition to that, in our discussion with council, there's been ongoing interest in greenways, and while we have received grants for almost $800,000 to $900,000 in greenways, we have an immediate need for another $800,000, or at least desire within the community for us to build another $800,000 worth of greenways. And council suggested maybe we roll all of that into a bond referendum and allow our community to vote. And so I think you'll hear more about that, and projects for recreation totaling $18 to $19 million for those four things: W.A. Foster, Herman Park Center renovation, multi-sports complex, and additional greenways along Stony Creek. So should that come for a vote, or should the council choose to move forward, the earliest it would be is the spring of 2014. And we'll talk more about what that really means, but it could be up to a 3-cent increase on the property tax rate if the community supports those projects and votes for that. I'd also like to mention our city's motto contest. We appreciate all the entries. We received over 900 entries up through June. Our marketing team within the city was reduce those 900 and some mottos or suggestions that we received to 20, and out of that 20 we really created one more. It just seemed to be a fit if we merged two of them together, so we have to create an additional motto. So we have 21 for you to select from on our website, and we would encourage you to vote all through the month of August, hopefully one vote per person, but we'd ask you to go onto our website, find the motto contest, and vote for your favorite. We'll present the top 5 to our City Council along with some ideas, and the City Council makes the final selection of what the motto will be with your input. And again, we want to thank all those involved because we've had a lot of people involved, and we look forward to sharing you what the motto will be in the coming months. I'd also like to mention citizen surveys. We have just developed really postcard-sized surveys. They will be available on the website. They'll be available in our parks and recreation facilities, all of our public buildings and facilities. So if you have an experience you'd like to share, or a complaint, or something you'd like to see us do differently, this survey should allow that, and we would encourage you, if you don't do it online, to do it in print and send it to us. You can either drop it off at City Hall, we'll have boxes there for you, or mail it into at the address. You can just put a stamp on it, and the other side of the card has the address that comes into the manager's office. So we'd encourage you to look for those surveys and share anything that you think we're doing well, or areas we could improve, or good or bad experience you've had with us. There continue to be a lot of activities in the community. Parks and Rec has been busy this summer, along with a lot of our other departments. I would mention one, the Hillbilly Hike will be our 3rd, being held at Waynesboro Park in September. It's time to register for that if you have an interest in that. Put your individual or group together to come out and compete with each other. It will be a fun event for anybody 15 and older. You're able to participate, and I would encourage you, if you haven't been in one, to come see what one's all about. But any of our activities, from the Paramount to DGDC to Parks and Rec, are on our website and our Facebook page. And again, the information's here in front of you on the screen, and you can certainly sign up or take a look or ask, and we'll be happy to share activities going on within the community. There's a lot to do. You may just have to get out there and look for it. In closing, I would just like to say we are here to serve. We have a great group of employees working for you every day. If you have a good experience with us, please share it with me. I'd like to know that. If you have an experience that could have been better, please share that, and we'll try to make it better the next time. But we are here to serve, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.